Hola mi gente, ¿cómo están? Mi nombre es Alba Mar, me pueden decir Alba. El canal se llama Seriela, estamos aquí para hablar de libros y otras cosas. Así que, hola. Hi, my name is Alba Mar, you may call me Alba. The channel name is Seriela. We're here to talk about books and other stuff today. This will be the update after the Three Kings earthquake that we've just experienced here in Puerto Rico. Here I was getting ready for January and wondering what I was going to offer as content on my channel for 2020, whether I would do goals, whether I would do the deathbed tag, whether I would talk about Alan Morton's charity challenge, and I had my books out, especially because of Alan Morton's suggestion that I read James Herriot, and this is certainly a Chunkster. I was going to show you what I got on Instagram to carry my books in. I was going to talk about how I've been working on my book bujo and have it set up for the year, and with the challenges already set up for January, which I did before all of this happened. There was Foucault's Pendulum, which is I understand has been pushed back. Wolf Hall. I was going to do Don Quixote for Alan Morton's challenge. Toni Morrison Read Along is this month. I haven't received the book yet. And Read Your Shelves. A lot of stuff going on. But as you know, we've been hit by some earthquakes. As a matter of fact, the earth has been shaking for a very long time here in Puerto Rico, but nothing as big as this. The last time we had a big one, what you would call a big one, big earthquake plus tsunami, was in 1918. So we have a population for which this is completely, entirely new. I was visiting my son's family up in the northwest part of the island in San Sebastián de las Vegas del Pepino, which you've heard me talk about. And I was trying to escape the noise, excuse me, from the Three Kings celebration here in Juana Diaz, with a lot of fireworks and things going on. I wasn't having it after Christmas and New Year's, and no, I wanted some peace and quiet. So I went up to San Sebastián on Sunday, and that Monday morning we had a Three Kings Day earthquake. And we woke up with that, and spend the rest of the day with the neighbors outside, because every time we went inside there were aftershocks. That evening, one of the neighbors kindly suggested uploading an app called Earthquake something or other. It's an earthquake app. And so we did. We downloaded it. We put it on our phones. And it would not be quiet. I finally fell asleep. And at 4:30, which is when I usually get up to read, but I was so exhausted from what had happened that I just heard some alarms going off. And it was that app, and it wouldn't shut up. I was trying to get it, the alarm to go off, and it wouldn't shut up. And suddenly the earth started moving, and things started falling in my son's house. Not big things, you know, little books and bottles, empty bottles, and CDs and DVDs, things like that. And when I heard things falling, I went outside. And everybody else went outside. And if you watch the news, especially David Begnaud, you'll see that people, especially in the southern part of the island, which coincidentally is where I live, have been camping outside because a lot of buildings they have witnessed, we have seen buildings crumble onto cars. I was impressed by the reaction of everybody. Everybody who has a carport on pillars, on columns, no, are not putting their cars in their carports anymore. No, not if the house can fall on top of their cars, because then they'll be immobilized. It can't go anywhere, and you lose your car. So everybody, even though they had a place for their car to sleep in a carport, no, all the cars were on the street, and including my son and his wife's car and mine. Everybody outside, sharing coffee, sharing food, sharing whatever information, what was happening in town. Yeah. Luckily, communication was still available. Ironically, when I get back home, I couldn't get back home to the southern part of the island. I live in Juana Diaz, and the epicenter of the earthquake is in the southern part of Puerto Rico. Ponce, Peñuelas, Guayanilla, and Guanica. Guayanilla and Guanica being where most of the destruction was, and where most people are camping outside. They're camping outside, and they don't want to know about falling structures. Especially if you've seen the pictures of the school that crumbled in, I think it was Guanica or Guayanilla, one of those two towns. And we're just so thankful that there wasn't school, and that we celebrate the Three Kings, because there was no school that day. It would be mind-boggling to think about what would have happened if school was going on at that time. Because even though it was early in the morning, there's always school personnel and people who arrive early in the schools. And I've seen that happen all the time. I've had principals who show up at school like before the sun goes up. I've seen that happen. So yeah, I just wanted to let you know, I don't know when this will go up, because as I said a little while back, there was communication where I was in the northwest part of the island, but my carrier has a very weak signal here in the southern part of the island, so I don't know. There's no Wi-Fi in my daughter's house where I'll be going now. So yeah. And what was I reading? Well, I tried to keep on reading Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel, which is the read-along that Jason and others have for her series. But I had just finished reading, as I told you, I was finished reading Thomas Cromwell, A Revolutionary Life by Diarmaid McCullough. And I'm still reeling. I'm still reeling from that, but I don't feel up to giving a review of that book right now, or of what I think about Hilary Mantell and Wolf Hall right now. This is what I found on the floor. Whatever books I had stacked like this, one on top of the other, like you see Steve Donahue do. Some of those were on the floor when I got to my apartment. Pictures, you know, fell over. I have not put anything up on my walls that are heavy at all, you know, glass things, you know. Ever since Maria, they've been in the closet. I haven't taken them up. And I haven't put them up again, sorry. And but books that were stacked, some of them fell over. And look what I found on the floor. First thing I saw, Aftershocks of Disaster, Puerto Rico Before and After the Storm by Yarimar Bonilla and Marisol Lebron. Yeah. You know I'm going to read this book. Yeah. This was a sign. And she wasn't talking about an earthquake. They weren't talking about an earthquake. They're talking about what happened after Maria. Yeah. We won't go into the responses. We've learned after Maria, I think most of us have learned, that the communities helping themselves, yeah, that's the best solution. I will link down below some of David Begnaud's reporting, and also a link to some of the grassroots organizations that work directly with the people, because I wouldn't want to steer you to some kind of a supposed NGO that's going to pocket all the proceeds and all the donations. And before I sign off, I'm also going to leave the link to Alan Morton's charity challenge, which I think is perfect to address what we can do with our privilege of being able to read in a world in which most people cannot afford to read. It's a beautiful, beautiful way of reaching out to people and getting books to them. I will leave that link down below. And I've had Amy from Amy Gets Lit on my mind for a very long time. Go give her a visit, okay? And if you have her on Boxer also, give her a visit on Boxer, okay? And say hello to her for me. And although I'll get in touch myself and see how she's doing, okay? And anybody else you know that is going through situations, all right? Because I really appreciated each and every one of my BookTube friends who reached out to me, as well as my family members in the diaspora who reached out and asked how I was doing and how my family was doing. It means so much. So take care, people. Keep on reading if you can, right? I don't know if I can, but if you can, keep on reading. Cuídense mucho, mi gente. Sigan las instrucciones, mantengan la calma. Cuídense mucho. Adiós.